Welcome to BeatzNEatz. I'm Chef Net, aka Moonwater, your wellness musician. Today we are making creamy tomato Alfredo shrimp pasta. And our ingredients for this pasta are bow tie pasta, sun-dried tomatoes, shrimp, garlic, Alfredo sauce, tomato sauce, spinach, red chili flakes, basil, oregano, some Romano cheese that we're gonna grate up, onion, and salt. Doesn't that sound amazing? You ready to cook? Let's cook. We're gonna start with our onion and our garlic. On BeatzNEatz, I just love to use herbs and oils. Got some oils in that sun-dried tomato, a grapeseed oil here, fresh spinach, basil, and it smells, even before I start cooking, I can just smell the aroma, the tomatoes and the basil, and it just smells so great. If you're short on time, you can always use the canned ingredients. I know I talk about fresh ingredients, but sometimes when you're short on time, you just gotta go for what you have. And these are pantry staples. But when you do, always try to make sure that you include some type of herb or some type of fresh vegetable to go into your meal. Okay? You want to make sure you just check those boxes and get what you need. I've been craving like a pasta dish, you know, that tomato sauce flavor. And I was like, what would be better than just a regular pasta dish, but some bow tie and some shrimp and some sun-dried tomatoes to bring it all together. So I'm gonna hit this so I can saute my onions and my garlic. And this is just, like I said, grapeseed oil. You can use whatever oil you like, olive oil, you know. Primarily use olive oil for your like dressings because they have a really low smoke point. So in this particular case, grapeseed oil or any type of oil that you have. Just try not to use, cook with olive oil, okay? This is a half a cup of onions. These are white onions that I'm using. Just get those running around in that oil. And you can even add like a red wine to this. If you want that extra burst of flavor, add you a nice red to it. Turn it down a bit. I don't want it too hot when I add in my garlic. You don't want it to burn. So like I say, next thing I'm gonna do is add in my garlic, not the cloves. This is just for demonstration purposes only, which I love garlic. So once I get that garlic in and these onions cooking down and sweating a little bit, I'm going to cook my shrimp, remove it from the pan, because I don't want to overcook it in the sauce. So like this is like a turkey meatball or something, I'll probably just leave it in there and let everything cook together. But since it is shrimp, I definitely don't want to overcook my shrimp. Don't like overcooked shrimp. So now I'm going to add in my garlic. This is cooking at a pretty good temperature, but I am going to add some more oil in. Like I say, definitely don't want your garlic to stick and burn and stink up your entire home. And if you're like me, you like a salad to go with your pasta, like if you're eating spaghetti or a lasagna or any type of linguine. I like a good salad to go with mine. If you're doing like an Alfredo, just Alfredo by itself, I do like a Caesar salad. You do whatever you want. This is BeatzNEatz. And I get really excited about the toppings that go on when you plate it all up. I've got some fresh Romano cheese here. You can use Parm. You can grate you some Parm as you're cooking your sauce. In this case tonight, we're using fresh Romano cheese. I'm gonna grate this over it. Maybe in it as the sauce is cooking, and then to finish it off, chef's kiss. Oh my goodness, are coming along quite well. Like I said, I'm gonna drop my shrimp in here. I'm not gonna cook them all the way. I'm gonna cook them to where they're just like cooked enough so when I add it to my sauce, they're gonna finish cooking the rest of the way. So not quite curled up. You know, when you cook shrimp in it, how you know it's done is it starts to turn pink, that clear to a pink, and it starts to curl in. And when it curls in too much, you may have some really hard shrimp on your hands, and that you don't want. So we get our sauce in there, we get our Alfredo tomato sauce. If you don't want to use tomato sauce, like I said, these are our pantry staples that we're just using out of the pantry. You can get you some canned tomatoes. As you add them in a pan, you can give them a nice squeeze to break them down. Or you can stew you some tomatoes, which will be really good. Fresh, robust, great tomatoes or some cherry tomatoes. Stew those down in some olive oil, roast them, and put them in a blender. So like I said, all depends on how much time you have on your hands. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and start adding in my shrimp. These are jumbo shrimp. So I'm gonna let those cook on top of that garlic and onions. Spread them out, make sure everybody is flat. And I haven't seasoned these yet because I can hit them with a little salt. So I'm gonna crank them up just a little bit. Already starting to turn pink. So I'm just gonna give them a nice flip over. Flip that one back. It's on the thicker side. Definitely don't want to overcook my shrimp. Who likes to eat overcooked shrimp? Not me. That garlic on top of them, it's a beautiful sight to behold. And this is good for date night. I know I'm always giving like themes for date nights, but I'm a big proponent on if you're trying to impress your dates or you want to treat your mate special, do something like this. I guarantee you their heart in more ways than one. So a couple more seconds here. I get those bigger pieces flipped. I'll let it cook a couple more seconds. Then I'm gonna take all of these ingredients out of the pan, add my sauce to it, sun-dried tomatoes, a little bit of basil. Start mixing everything up with our pasta. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. Can you tell? I'm excited about this shrimp here. Cause I am. I just love food. I love food. I do. I love it. So these guys are starting to curl up. I don't want them to cook. So I'm going to take them off. You guys, these are smelling so good. Amazingly good. Scoop just a little bit of these onions out, not all of them, so they can play a little bit. So you see I have my onions and my garlic, the broth from the shrimp. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add in my Alfredo sauce and my tomato sauce and add in my sun-dried tomatoes in as well. So I kind of want like more Alfredo than tomato, if that makes sense. More Alfredo than tomato. Turn this down. Because I just want to get this a little simmer on here. And I want to scorch my Alfredo sauce. So I'm just going to give this a stir. I love a good Alfredo sauce. You can always make your own. I was telling you about how to make your tomato sauce. You can always make your own Alfredo sauce as well. You know, some heavy cream, or find you some vegan heavy cream, some grated cheese, grated Parmesan cheese. See, I want more Alfredo sauce than I do tomato sauce. We're gonna add those sun-dried tomatoes, so that'll be another level of the tomato to it as well. Give this a stir. And I'm already loving the color and the contrast in it. So I want to add a little more tomato sauce to it. It still may be a little, a lot more Alfredo on the Alfredo side. So let's test this out. Can't wait to taste this. I can only imagine how it's gonna taste once I add my basil, shrimp, and garlic and onions back to it. You guys, oh my gosh. Yes, indeed. And toss it in that bow tie. What? I wanna taste this. It's still got more of that Alfredo flavor to it. I can be a little more generous with tomato sauce. Now we're gonna gauge it from here. I'm just gonna crank it up so I can start to blend, come together. So close. Glad I'm adding it in slowly because now I'm starting to get that balance of Alfredo and tomato sauce. And I'm thinking this is it. Because once I add in my sun-dried tomatoes and let it start to simmer, that tomato taste and flavor is just gonna come together. Let's give it a little taste. Yep, it could stand to use a little salt, not too much. I'm just gonna add. And this is why, I use salt to season. And sometimes I don't know how much I'm gonna need. When I add, you add. So I'm gonna bring it up, and I also want it to kind of thicken up as well. Once this starts getting a little boil on it, I don't want too much of a boil. It's enough to start it to come together. I'm going to add in my sun-dried tomatoes. I love a good sun-dried tomato. It has oil in it, which is going to add to that flavor also. I always talk about smell-o-vision. If you could just get a whiff of what's coming out of my pan, it can come out of your pan too, if you're cooking along with me. So now I have my tomatoes in there, and it's starting to boil, so I'm gonna bring it down so it can simmer, not boil. So I have my sun-dried tomatoes in here. I got my garlic, my onions, my tomato sauce, my Alfredo sauce, my sun-dried tomatoes in here with that oil, which is also good, so to give my pasta like an opportunity to slide around a little bit instead of sticking when I go to toss it together. Amazing. Amazing. Just gonna crank it up. I'm gonna try to contain myself when I eat this. Can't make any promises. So we got our simmer going here. I'm smiling because I'm so excited about this this dish. I love it when the preparation mode is just building that excitement and get those taste buds going, because you know your digestive process starts with your mind. The visualization of it all. That's why you always want to have pretty food. You see foods and then you smell it, and in those olfactories, it's probably too much. I get a little carried away, but overall, it's gonna be great. I have the mini bow tie pastas here, and they are so adorable. So adorable. Who can resist a little bow tie pasta? I can't. And I made it al dente. So once again, similar to the shrimp, I didn't want it too soft to where it would be mushy when I've added it to the pan after the sauce cooks. It's gonna come together great. So now I got me a nice little simmer here. What do I want to add in next? Oh, I completely forgot to add my oregano. Can't forget your oregano, your Italian seasoning, whatever you're doing. And this is about, I'd say a tablespoon, but I'm just adding it gradually. And I'll see if I need some more. And my red pepper chili flakes to add that heat to it. So I'm just gonna, you don't want a lot of this, because these guys will set your world on fire. Okay. I have my basil here, and the basil serves two purposes: to add to the dish and also to garnish. And I am a sucker for some basil. If you can, get you a basil plant and tend to it and allow some of the leaves to fall off and dry up in the pot, and that way you can have your dried basil and have your fresh basil, like I just added to the pan here. Getting your herbs in here, your dried herbs, your fresh herbs. That's what we want, right? You always want to add at the end, add your little garnish at the top. Once again, make it pretty. Add just a little bit more here. Or you can use dried basil or fresh. It's totally up to you. When you can, opt to use fresh always, okay? But if not, whatever's in your pantry, use it. The smell is heavenly. So I'm gonna turn it down some more, because I want to start adding in my other ingredients. Once I add my pasta in, I'm going to throw in my shrimp and my garlic and onions. I'm going to finish it up with the spinach over here and just bring our dish all together. I'm going to layer those beets over these eats. Speaking of beets, you know how we do here on BeatzNEatz. Tell them about this awesome beet. This beet I call Cloud 9. It brings a feeling of euphoria. It's soothing. It features ancient singing bowl in one of the tracks on the layers. Singing bowls, they are known to bring the relaxation part when you hear it, the frequency of it. So you would. And it creates a frequency. Was inspired with these ancient singing bowls. Only here on BeatzNEatz where you get a meal with a singing bowl and a beat. That will leave you on cloud 9. The ancient singing bowl, meditation, relaxation. Okay. Our sauce has thickened up, our seasons, our flavors, and our herbs have come together. We are on cloud 9. Whew. This music just does something to me. Guys, this has come together so beautifully. The color that I want, I achieved. Now we are going to add in, let's see, do I want to do my pasta first or do I want to do my shrimp? Let's add our pasta in. I'm not gonna add all of this because I want a nice little ratio of pasta to sauce. I don't want to overdo it. Okay. Oh. Yes. Yes. Taste buds are starting to do what they're gonna do. Just a little bit more. Throw my sauce out the pan. Add just a little bit more. I always wind up cooking more pasta than sauce. Does that ever happen to you? Wind up cooking more pasta than sauce, but it's okay because you know you can always do something with your sauce. I mean your pasta. I'm gonna turn it down because our cooking process is pretty much done. As a matter of fact, I can turn it off. So if you're really skilled with it and you can toss this thing about, then you go, chef. But I don't want to make a mess. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just stir. So now, gonna add our beautiful shrimp into the pan. All of it. Every single one. Make sure I get all my onions. Mix it all around in here. Fine Italian dining. Get everything worked in here. It's easy to make. It's just a matter of putting everything in the pan. There's really not much prep. Your seasonings and your herbs. Only thing to chop is your onion and your garlic. Shrimp doesn't take long to cook. Oh my gosh. I'm having a moment over here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add in my spinach. And so it's warm, so you know the spinach is just gonna wilt down. I ain't gonna try to sing that. That note was really high in cloud 9. I might be able to hit it after I eat this meal because I will be on cloud 9. Most work is probably be to stir this thing. You gotta put your back into it. So in order to get my spinach cooked like I want, I'm just gonna turn the heat on just a little bit more. I'm gonna put it in a bowl, make it really pretty. Add that Romano cheese to it, top it off. You ready to play? Let's play. So we're back and our creamy tomato Alfredo shrimp pasta is plated up. The color levels and the layers to this dish are astounding. Got my shrimp, my balance of tomato and Alfredo sauce, my garlic, my onions, my oregano. Added some fresh spinach in there, fresh basil to just give it that pop of flavor. I've been waiting. I definitely want to get some basil in there. I'm gonna get some spinach, grab one of those sun-dried tomatoes. That Romano cheese at the end. The sauce. The perfect balance with the seasonings and the flavors. The pasta cooked down a little bit more, just like I wanted it to. So easy. 40 minutes total. Yeah, all the basil. I'm gonna take my cream and tomato Alfredo shrimp pasta and my basil. And we're gonna head that way and enjoy some Beats. Man, listen.